Hi, welcome to Echoes and Edges, the Broken and Beautiful podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Patria, the founder of The Broken and Beautiful. I'm a story and Enneagram coach, and I love to help people weave parts of themselves back together, gently, with skill. Part of being skilled means having many tools in the toolbox of care. I have many, from Allender training to Enneagram training and a whole bunch in between. Far and away, though, one of the most useful tools that I have found is the Enneagram. Why? Because the Enneagram is set up to provide not only information, but pathways for transformation. It's not complicated. It's not easy, but it's not complicated, and it provides a simple way of recognizing why reactivity shows up when and how it does for us. So we're offering you a series on the 9 types, short, simple, and to the point, to help you get started using the Enneagram in a practical way. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Type 7. So moving on to Type 7 now, we're in the last of the head triad here, and the 7s really do long for adventure. They long for good times and celebration. This can look different. Again, context. Think context. You know, if you're somebody raised in the circus, you're not raised in the circus, likely, but I'm just talking about the fun and the performance, the ways that 7 perform as well. It's not fun necessarily like that. That's kind of what people think of. But 7s do want to move forward, to move to the next good time. And so sometimes they're talked about is that they're just very, very future oriented. They're always looking out there. All the 7s I know long for the growth edge. They want to be on the outside of the growth edge or as close to the growth edge as they can. So the defense of the Type 7 is reframing negatives to positives. It's like a mirror image with 7s a little bit. They tend to maybe overdo positivity at times by reframing and only seeing the silver lining and not the cloud, always. They can tend to escape pain by feeling good or looking for the next good thing. They stay busy and they can be too upbeat. I don't know that all 7s really identify with that, but I know a lot of them do. And so 7s often try to outrun heaviness or pain with activity or optimism. Ro, how do you see that for 7s around the holidays? What does that tend to look like, or what could that look like?
Well, I do think they like to bring the joy, like to bring the fun. And I think it's in 2 ways that, again, if a 7's been doing work and they don't want to always be on. I had a young man who was a 7, and as he was growing in his walk with the Lord and growing, his friends wouldn't let him. Like when he wanted to have a serious conversation, when he wanted to share something from his heart, they're like, oh, come on, lighten up. You're not that guy. And so I think sometimes we have to pay attention when 7s are longing to grow to, again, wholehearted. You have to deal with a full range of emotions and not just the happy ones. So I think, again, if a 7's ready to have some deeper conversations with some people, but the family members see him as the clown or the one who's going to bring the games and be the life of the party, it can be very frustrating for a 7 who's on that growth journey.
Yeah.
And to be stuck in, I'm the entertainer. I bring all the fun. But also, on the flip side, if it is tense and family members want to have a conversation with you and somebody says something that's really unkind to you and people go, that was really rude. Oh, no big deal. It's fine. And you make a joke about it and you move on.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you're coming in to want to grow or just to be put in that box.
That reframing can happen so fast.
So it's like talking about like breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people, it's like, it's great to reframe when you have a tire that busts in your driveway and you go, well, at least it wasn't on the interstate. That's good reframing.
Yes.
Not so good reframing is, well, I got pulled over going 60 into 30, but whatever. But the policeman, and they miss the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because they flip it. So there's a positive reframing, but
Yes.
there's an escapism
Yeah.
that isn't good to
Yeah.
reframe.
That's really true. And I don't think it's talked about a whole lot in the literature, and this is anecdotal, but I think it's true, that sevens are oftentimes very intelligent. It's not like necessarily high IQ, although it could be, but it's more that savviness, the street smarts, the shell game, moving the shells, able to keep track of everything, where threes play the shell game and lose track of themselves. Sevens are able to keep track of every little detail. And that's part of, I think, why it's a little bit hard to catch them at the game, or for them to be caught. Let's say it that way, because sevens are just like anybody. They want to be caught and loved, just like all of us do. But because they move so fast onto the next thing, it can be a little bit challenging. So what happens then? Like, let's just imagine, let's use those scenarios that you talked about and I talked about as a setting for what happens then when grace kind of starts unfolding and they start being able to stay present with a broader range of emotions. What does that look like?
Well, I think they will land in a place where they will really feel more complete instead of that gluttony of more of things that is not going to ground them. It's why it keeps pushing them forward and forward, because they're taking so much in that really is not grounding them in who they really are. And I think when they can learn to be present in the moment and feel all the full range of emotions. Feel the happy, for sure.
Yes.
But life isn't full of happy. And what sevens, I think, realize, a lot of them end up crashing, is because they are running so far ahead of emotions of something that they need to sit and feel and process.
Yes.
And that's what I would tell them. Just practice feeling. I kind of like the 6. Little micro moments.
Yes.
Just sit and feel it. You don't have to, you're not going to drown in it. It's not going to take you under. And the more you get comfortable with sadness or grief or anger or whatever you need to really feel, the more comfortable you get, you will widen that space to sit in it, to where you can just be at peace in a full range of emotions.
And particularly, I hear you talking about grief and sadness. That's the both and it is amazing when grace starts, this unfolding starts getting a hold of sevens, and they can have touch points with lament and grief and things that hurt. Again, they don't have to be less joyful, and the grief doesn't last forever, but it is this touch point with the cloud, right? Not just the silver lining. It's the touch point with the whole picture and not just the happy part of it. And that really can help. So as sevens go into family, just remembering that there is grief here. It isn't necessarily something you need to process in real time, but there is grief here, and do look for it. Like, see if you can at least take a minute, 10 seconds, 1 second to look for, where's the grief here? Look at faces around you. If this episode resonates with you, follow or subscribe to Echoes and Edges on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a 5-star review and share with a friend who might need a gentle invitation to self-understanding. Echoes and Edges is produced and edited by Stephen R. Sanders. Music promoted by Envato. Echoes and Edges is part of the VividLivid Podcast Network, where bruises speak. and healing finds its voice.